Hello everybody. I'm going to give you a short tutorial on how to put together the ukulele. This video will not include adding the frets and the fretboard. However, all you really have to do is snap the frets into the neck pocket and then glue the fretboard pieces on. We're going to start first with the body because you need to start with the body and finish it before you can do the neck. I encourage you to rewind and pause as needed. You should see that I've already knolled everything up, split everything up, and you should see the numbers. We'll be starting with the back. You'll notice that the front has a hole and has the saddle spot and for the strings. The back does not have those holes. You do need to pick the nicest side and put that out. I'm going to pick this side and leave it outside. And you'll notice that I have a broken bolt hole here. And that's okay if yours has a broken hole. Things will still work, as long as it doesn't have all of them broke. So now flip it so that the back is facing up. Drop the bolts into the holes. This will allow gravity to be your guide. Now you just need to flip it upside down, and you have a nice guide. I will be using the other one as soon as I need it. I have 12 longs and 15 shorts. I'm going to do 11 layers of longs and shorts. You're going to want to use glue, but I'm not going to use glue just to show you. When you put glue on, put it on the bottom, spread it with your finger or cotton swab or Q-tip, just enough so that it's firm. Line it up and then slide it down the bolt holes. You don't want to use too much glue because then it's going to be squishing out and it's going to be really, really hard to sand. Right now I'm going to add that other bolt in. I have a long one on the left side, so I'm going to use a short one on the right. Remember to glue it on the bottom side and then slide it down. This time we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to flip the sides. So we had a long on the left, now we're going to use a long on the right. So we'll glue it, then flip it. So an important thing here is you want to avoid getting glue on the bolts, because without glue on the bolts, they come out really easily. The wing nuts come off easily. If you've got glue all over them, they're not going to come off very easily. Okay, include your short there, and then you're going to flip again. So glue it, and then we're using it on the left side again. And it doesn't really matter if you have a nice side facing up or a nice side facing down. And by nice side, I mean the side that's not as burnt as much, because you're not going to see them. So now we're going to add another short. Remember to glue it. Now we're flipping sides again. So we've got our long on the right side now. Now a short. So now grab a long. And you'll know that you're doing this wrong if you have a seam at the bottom, because you'll have put all of the longs on one side and all of the shorts on the other side. It's not the end of the world if you do that, but it will have a seam and it might be a little hard to put the top on. So flip the long to the other side. So another short and glue it. Another long. Remember just to alternate or weave between long and short. Again, really avoid touching the bolts with gluey fingers. So you're just going to stop when you only have one long left. That'll be your sign. You don't really even have to count. So if there was anything to meme from this video, it would definitely be me fake gluing everything. Definitely be what I would meme. I know that if I ever come see you, either on campus or in another location, and you don't do the fake gluing, I know that you haven't watched this video, and I'll be disappointed. I do find that people have a hard time remembering to glue the opposite side. So like to glue it and then to flip it upside down and put it down. Glue that side and then flip upside down. Got another short. So an important thing to note about glue, if you're using Titebond 1, it has about a 3 to 5 minute cure time. It means after 5 minutes it's pretty much solid and not easy to separate. So really check every time. It's also another reason to maybe use Titebond 3, which has like a 10 to 15 minute cure time. Okay, I've done my 11 layers of longs and shorts. Now I'm going to do the layers with ends. 3 layers of ends and 3 of the shorts. We're going to do the same thing that we did before. We do a long on one side and then a short on the other. Please be careful to not put too much glue right next to the holes. You don't want it in the holes or else you're going to have to drill them out. Now a short. Now another one. I'm going to flip it. Remember, be really careful around the holes. And I'm just weaving again. Another short. One last layer with the ends. Last one. Then we're going to put in the spacers. The spacers are shorts with an end bolt. And the reason we do this is that the strings come through the top, through those holes, and then out the spacer hole to go into the ends. This allows more resonance because there's more contact with the wood. So I'm going to glue them. They're identical, so you can't mess this step up. Then glue this side. Now we just need our top level, which is the same as the bottom levels. So glue. I thought this one had a snap in it, but it doesn't, which is lucky. If you happen to have one that has a snap in it that's taped and glued, it'll still work. We've just repaired them, and you won't even notice it after you've glued everything and sanded it. Now we need the neck pocket. We've got one side that looks like hole based, the other one is less holy. So both with the arrow pointing up. Once you've glued these, you're going to put the wings. 2 wings down, the up wings, and they look like that. You just need this kind of wing structure, some supporting up, some supporting down. This goes in the pocket into those 2 holes, and it takes a lot of pressure. And it's harder for me to do because it's not glued. And I'm going to show you one with just these. It snaps in place, and you're going to have to put some real force into it. And it's going to be way easier to do when it's glued. You would have your wings in place now. So I'll put them in just so you can see what they would look like. I'll leave those off because they keep falling off. So now you're going to glue any surface that will be facing the top. And make sure the top has the space for the bridge and saddle on it. So glue it on and then snap that part into place. This is when you use the wing nuts to go all the way down. You're going to put them on. I'm not going to put all of them on because that would be obnoxious to watch. You don't need them to be too tight. Just finger tight. If you tighten them too much, it will actually make it so that these don't cure correctly. So now this part is done. I'm just going to get rid of some of these. Now we're going to look at how to do the neck. We have 4 of these medium-sized ones that have 2 bolts on the neck sides and 3 bolt holes around the side. The long ones have 3 bolt holes along the neck side. We have a smooth long that doesn't have the teeth, and it has 3 bolt holes on the long side, but it doesn't have the 3 bolt holes towards the pocket because it has this part, And this will make sense in a little bit. And then 2 little ones that only have 1 bolt toward the neck, and then the 3 normal ones towards the body. So I'm going to split these up easier. I'm going to take 2 each, 2 and 2. I'm just splitting them up. 1 of each of these. We need 3 of each of these, 3 and 3. 1 of each of those, and 1 of each of those. The reason we're doing this is that the neck is symmetrical. So we're going to start on this side and start with the small. And just don't do what I'm doing right here. You actually could just drop them through like that. It's a little easier. Flip them upside down. And now you're actually going to glue the up-facing surface. Now we're going to take this and do the same thing. This is a medium now. We put our next bolt in, glue the top, and then slide the next medium one on. So this neck goes 1 small, 2 mediums, 3 longs, 2 longs without the teeth, 3 longs, 2 mediums, 1 small. So we're just kind of putting it together, and I'm doing it here in a symmetrical way. Here's our long one. We'll add our last bolt. Now glue it again. Add your next long. And it's really important that you do the neck in all-in-one sitting. Okay, glue it. So to get everything done in one sitting, this is why you want to have everything knolled or split up. It will greatly help you. Now we're going to use the smooth or non-notched long. Remember to glue the top side facing up before you put it down. Then glue, and I'm not showing you right now, but glue the space for that part. Now we do it opposite. So you glue, put that spot down, glue, now go for your longs, glue it. Glue. Glue. This time you're going to glue it up to the second to last bolt, not that part. If not, you're just going to have to wipe it off. If you So we're using a medium here. Glue it again all the way. So again, we're going to glue to the second to last, not that part. If not, you just have to wipe it off. Now we put the wing nuts on again. Same way as before, it doesn't need to be too tight. You may even have to loosen these a little bit right now while you're adding the frets. So don't stop, because you need to put the frets in. And unfortunately I don't have a set of frets in. I usually glue a little and then snap the frets down. It'll end up looking like this. And then you glue in the fret pieces. So snap the fret in and glue the fret pieces down on them. And it should snap flush. You may have to trim the frets a little bit if you need to. So I'm going to show you how to put the headstock in. I've just taken out some of the bolts. So by this time, you could take 3 of the bolts from something, most likely from the body. Because you'll need 3 bolts for the headstock. There's the full-size piece and the 3 kind of spaced pieces. Decide which side you want to face out. So drop the bolts through and flip it over. So you want to glue. You don't need to glue the middle. So just glue around the sides, not right there in the middle. And then glue the side facing up. And then add the next one. Try not to get glue in the holes, because those are the tuner holes, and if you get glue in them, you're going to have to drill them out or file them out, which is a real pain. And again, glue on the top facing, and then put the last one down. Do the same thing with the wing nuts. All the way down. And again, not too tight. Once it's done, here's an example neck that's finished. The frets are in and the fret markers are in. Once this is glued, you can put it in. But you're actually going to need to do something else first. So you're going to have to glue that and put it on. But before you do it, you have to snap that piece off. Now please don't do it the way that I'm doing it right here, because I didn't have my snips. Snipping will be significantly easier. Now you can glue it, and it should fit really, really hard, well. And you can actually just hold it for the most part until it's done. Within 5 minutes it'll be tacky, and then within 10 minutes it'll pretty much be hard. So here's a finished one, except for yours will have a flat top on it, flat headstock. You need to figure out how to put the neck in. So I'm going to show you from a different model that we have. So this one has the neck unbolted. So there's the neck. Your neck will look pretty much like that, and there's the bolt hole. Yep. And they did it down. It's a different model again. The small bolt you have now goes in the hole that you've left, and then set it in the neck. Do not glue the neck. A wing nut, take it and tighten it all the way. And you're going to have to tighten it multiple times because these necks will warp a little bit or the wood will condense. And then you'll have a finished product, and you eventually have that. That's after sanding, after adding the saddle and bridge and the nut and the tuners. This person turned the tuners down a little bit. Some people do them straight. It doesn't really matter. And do lots of sanding on the neck. I hope you enjoy your ukulele. Please be sure to share pictures and videos of finished products.